Ты чё въёбываешься в меня, блядь? Разбегаемся быстрее! Да ты выебаешь, что ли, нахуй?
Amid the grinding battles along Ukraine's eastern front, Ukrainian military units say they have repelled a rapid assault by Russian troops using motorcycles, highlighting how the war continues to evolve tactically as both sides adapt to battlefield pressures.
АГСы пошли. Бля, слышь, он не заводится. Он не заводится.
According to statements from Ukrainian sources, snipers from the Azov Battalion played a key role in stopping an advance by Russian soldiers who attempted to push forward on motorcycles across exposed terrain. The assault, described as fast-moving and risky, was reportedly aimed at probing Ukrainian defenses and exploiting speed to reduce vulnerability to artillery and drones. In recent months, motorcycle assaults have increasingly appeared on the battlefield. Military analysts note that lighter, faster vehicles are sometimes used to bypass mined roads, move quickly between positions, or overwhelm defenders through sudden movement. However, such tactics also carry significant risks. Motorcycles offer little to no protection against small arms fire, shrapnel, or precision sniper fire. Ukrainian forces say this vulnerability was decisive in the reported engagement. The terrain was open and visibility was good, one Ukrainian military spokesperson said in remarks shared through official channels. Sniper teams were able to identify and engage targets before they reached effective assault distance. Snipers have become an essential component of Ukraine's defensive strategy. Equipped with modern optics, drones for reconnaissance, and coordinated communication with infantry units, sniper teams can disrupt enemy advances with relatively limited resources. In this incident, Ukrainian accounts claim that Azov Battalion snipers targeted motorcycle drivers first, disabling the vehicles and causing confusion among advancing troops. Once the assault lost momentum, other Ukrainian units reportedly engaged the remaining forces.
Есть. Цель.
While Ukrainian sources describe the losses as significant, independent verification of casualty numbers remains difficult due to ongoing combat and restricted access to frontline areas. Beyond immediate battlefield effects, such engagements can have a broader psychological impact. Failed assaults can lower morale among attacking troops and force commanders to reconsider tactics that expose soldiers to high risk. Military experts point out that motorcycle attacks, while visually dramatic, are often a sign of limited armored availability or attempts to conserve heavier vehicles. Speed can be an advantage, one defense analyst noted, but against prepared positions with good observation and sniper coverage, it can quickly become a liability. The clash underscores the continuing intensity of fighting in eastern Ukraine, where control of small villages and strategic routes can shift frequently. Both sides continue to adapt, experimenting with new methods to gain an edge. For Ukrainian forces, the engagement is being presented as evidence of effective coordination between reconnaissance, snipers, and infantry. For Russian commanders, it may prompt a reassessment of how and when light, fast assaults are used. As the conflict drags on, incidents like this illustrate how modern warfare blends traditional infantry skills, such as marksmanship and concealment, with new technologies and evolving tactics. What remains unchanged is the high human cost paid on both sides as the war continues with no immediate end in sight. This time, however, Russian offensives and Ukrainian counterattacks are continuing on several sections of the front. The Ukrainian armed forces have withdrawn the remnants of their units that had been fighting in near-total encirclement south of Kostiantynivka, along the shores of the Kleban-Bikska Reservoir, and have also pulled troops out of Mirnohrad, east of Pokrovsk. This has made it possible to redeploy some forces from the Pokrovsk area to Hulyai-Pole in the Zaporizhia region, where a large-scale Russian offensive is underway. That said, Ukrainian commanders will likely soon have to reinforce the Pokrovsk sector again. There, Russian forces are assembling an increasingly powerful grouping for an offensive against the Kramatorsk-Sloviansk agglomeration. Ukraine's 12th Special Forces Brigade, Azov, has been withdrawn from the Kleban-Bikski Reservoir between Donetsk and Kostiantynivka, where its units had spent several months fighting in near-total encirclement. The brigade's successor to the unit that was captured in Mariupol in 2022 has been redeployed to the Dobropilya sector. Ukrainian commanders likely believe that the simplified front line created by pulling back from the reservoir's southern bank will allow the area to be held with fewer forces. Russian troops immediately stepped up their offensive along the reservoir's northern shore, advancing toward Kostiantynivka from both the southwest and the south. In the city itself, fighting continues on the southeastern outskirts. Russian forces are also trying to break through to the city from the northeast, advancing from the Siversky Donetsk-Donbass Canal, where they've established a bridgehead on the western bank near Novomarkove. In the Dobropilya sector, between Pokrovsk and Kostiantynivka, Russian forces are finalizing preparations for another attempt to break through toward Druzhkivka and Kramatorsk. Marine infantry units transferred to the area last fall from the Sumy region, where they suffered heavy equipment losses, managed to capture Shakove, and now plan to push farther north through Sofivka. According to Russian war bloggers, the command of this improvised Marine Corps was replaced following the fall and December fighting. In Pokrovsk, the situation stabilized after Ukrainian armed forces units withdrew from neighboring Mirnohrad. However, fighting continues on the flanks. Neighborhoods in the town of Rodinske have changed hands several times in recent weeks alone. There are also ongoing clashes on the opposite flank, on the approaches to Hershini, a large village that has become the Ukrainian armed forces' main stronghold in the Pokrovsk sector. Ukrainian assault units continue to conduct raids into northern parts of Pokrovsk, likely to prevent Russian forces from building up in the city and using it as a base for further offensives toward Dobropilya and along the road to Dnipro. South of Pokrovsk, Ukrainian forces have managed to stop a Russian attempt to break north through Novopavlivka toward Mezhova and the Pokrovsk-Dnipro road. January weather isn't preventing Russian forces, which hold a significant numerical advantage in this sector, from advancing on both banks of the Seversky Donets River, from Seversk and near Liman. The offensive's main objective is to reach Sloviansk. So far, the Ukrainian armed forces have been unable to stop the Russian advance westward from Seversk. On the opposite bank, Russian troops have reached the river near Sviatohirsk on the western flank, while on the eastern flank, they've captured Dubrova and Ozern. Russian assault units have also been spotted in central Liman. It's likely that before the end of winter, Ukrainian troops will be forced to withdraw from Liman and the forests along the northern bank of the Seversky Donets and shift their focus to defending the southern bank and Sloviansk. The key defensive objectives are to block advances from the Seversk direction along the southern bank and to prevent Russian forces from crossing the river from the north.